Okay, so what I'd like to talk about now is I'd like to talk about this idea called summation. And just like if you take the word sum, it means adding up things. That's what we're going to be doing here. Let me show you a visual that I hope will help you to understand this a little more clearly. Now let me orient you to this picture. The blue that you see kind of underlying everything is the cell body with the dendrites of a neuron, a postsynaptic neuron. Here's the axon hillock region, here's the initial segment, and now we're moving into the axon. The other tan little things that look like sticky feet suction cups, those are actually presynaptic neurons. Those are the axon terminals of the presynaptic neurons. And here's one presynaptic neuron, here's another presynaptic neuron, here's another over here. Okay, so what this is showing is that it's showing you have one postsynaptic neuron, but it's being touched by a great number of presynaptic neurons. Okay. The purple is just showing the neuroglia. So what this means is that you may be getting, this postsynaptic neuron may be getting a signal to be stimulated from one presynaptic neuron, but another one might be saying, no, inhibit. Or maybe you're getting several stimulatory signals all at the same time, or several inhibitory signals all at the same time. So it turns out that this postsynaptic cell has a lot of different types of signals coming into it, and it has to make sense of it to make a decision. So how does it do that? Well, there's a couple of different ways. The first way is called spatial summation. What this is showing here is again, this big neuron here is your postsynaptic neuron, and here's one presynaptic neuron, here's another presynaptic neuron. The top and the bottom panels are showing you two different examples. So down here on the bottom, we're actually showing that two different stimuli are coming in at the same time. So for example, maybe you not only see a bright light, but you also hear a loud crash. Two things that are stimulating you that might make you jump and turn your head. Okay, maybe one alone wouldn't be enough to trigger this action potential. But when they both come in at the same time, we have enough stimulus that we reach threshold and we do an action potential. Now up here, this is showing something different. This is showing here's your stimulating signal right here. Well, what if you have both stimulating and inhibiting coming in at the same time? Well, in this case, the cell would just say, hey, we got sodium coming in and chloride. It's not changing our membrane potential overall, and so it might keep it at rest. It might prevent it from firing. So you could actually have either case happening here. All spatial summation means is that you have two stimuli coming to the same cell. It can be stimulating or inhibiting, and that together they do something different than one would alone. Now we also have a different type of summation called temporal summation. Notice here we only have one postsynaptic neuron and one presynaptic neuron. But what's happening is this presynaptic neuron is sending a stimulating signal so fast that this cell doesn't have time to get to rest, which causes it to quickly reach threshold and fire an action potential. We can see that here. If this is our membrane potential, and here's our threshold, that would allow us to fire an action potential. First stimulus, second comes in, third, fourth, so quick, notice we're not getting back down to rest each time. And so over time, this gets us up to threshold and we fire an action potential. This might be the difference between a bug landing on your skin and then flying away, which you never consciously perceive because you never fire that action potential, because alone it doesn't get you to threshold. Maybe that bug lands and stays there and continues to walk around a little bit. Well, then you've got a quick succession of stimuli reaching threshold. So what I'd like for you to do now is I'd like for you to make sure that you go to your notes packet and that you go here to this last table and define these things in your own word. What is summation? What is temporal summation, spatial summation? And then I'd like you to take one other minute and ask yourself, how are these two different? Is your definition good enough that you can explain how they're different? If you're uncertain, contact your instructor. That's what they're there to help you.